Good evening, Tony Dattino, founder of the USA Memory Championship, and we are here again. It seems like the years go by so quick, it is hard for me to realize that we are ready to host our 24th USA Memory Championship this coming Saturday, September 23rd at Full Sail University in Studio One, which is on Forsyth Road. And when I think about it, and I think of all of the 23 years we've done this previous to it, it always amazes me the amount of work that we put into it. Now, we do not do cookie cutting year by year. We actually put a lot of thought into how to improve it, how to make it more friendly for the audience, how to make the mental athletes more comfortable. So a lot of thought and planning go into it, and inputs that we get from prior mental athletes, prior champions, through the folks of Lumosity, Lumos Labs, through my own team of Karen Pinson and Michael Dattino, Robert Ajamian from MIT, Nelson Dellis, a five-time champion. So we put the best of the best together to always want to come up with the best possible event that we can have for purposes of the mental athletes enjoying the day and testing their own memory skills, but also creating a broadcast that people on YouTube or Facebook or wherever they're watching the broadcast, they can get to see the appreciation of these people that are proving that anyone can improve their memories, given the desire and the belief, and then the learning, the ability to learn and educate themselves and be a part of it. And so to me, when people ask me, my goodness, why do I continue to do this? I believe in the skills of memory. And when I say believe, it has been sad to me how many people I've met over the years, and I continue to meet, that worries about Alzheimer's, dementia, or cognitive impairment of some sort. And I'm saying, God, there's so much research that has come out over the last 20 years that talks about the lifestyle factors that we can control that can make a difference in that anxiety or in that worry. And I'm saying, God, isn't it important for us to be able to know what that research is sharing with us, what the studies that are being done can reveal that we can take control over, that we as our own self. And so the memory competition is basically an event to show people across the country that tune in and watch parts of it, what the events are that these men and women compete in, and ask the question like, wow, how do they do it? I love when I get that question. Wow, how did they do that? The fact that we pique people's interest in the question of how did they do that, and we kind of amaze them in it, is a tribute to the mental athletes that participate in the competition. And I say, as we said on our call today, which is our Monday afternoon call with the team, the fact that we have 11 people coming to compete, they've already risen to the top 1% or less of the populace, because how many people do you think that you meet, that you come across at all levels of ages, from teenagers to middle adults to seniors? How many people do you think that you know that could get on the stage and compete as well as these mental athletes will on Saturday for the USA Memory Championship? And so it's not to create an elite group of people, but to use the people that do participate to demonstrate that they've started out just as you may, which is an interest in their memory or a concern or a worry they have, or a family member that had an issue with dementia or Alzheimer's, and they want to know, is there something that they can do to make a difference and minimize their risk or their challenges that may be with it. And so that's who these people are. So we're going to have a feature that we'll do this year. Nelson Dellis will run that feature on why did you want to compete in the USA Memory Championship. And that's the first time we're doing that in a broad sense. So we're asking every one of the finalists to give us their thoughts about entering the competition and how they feel going into it. And I think that's going to be one of the best pieces that will come out of this year's USA Memory Championship. And of course, the competition will start with the data bits. We've given them 30 days to study about 2,000 pieces of information. And through one of the mental athlete suggestions, it was suggested that we start with that event. so that their study time that they've put time into over these last 30 days is not put for no use. So that's going to be our first event. I think that's going to be terrific. We flip the order. We're always open to suggestions. And after doing this for 23 years, people think, well, we've got this thing cookie cutted. And that's the thing that surprises me every year. We do not. We adapt and we learn and we make adjustments from the feedback we get. And so the second thing we got is we're editing this down. So we're not going live on Saturday. We're going to go live in the Full Sail Studio 1. But then we'll edit that Saturday night. We got a couple of people be working into the night to get that edited and up and ready for prime time on YouTube come Sunday. So we'll go from the long-term memory, and we'll eliminate. What I found out today is we have one person that's not going to be able to make it, so we're down to 11. So we'll eliminate 2 people in the long-term memory event. That'll bring 9 people into the Words to Remember event. And we'll take 3 people out of that event, and then we'll go to the tea party, and we'll have our tea party guests introduce themselves and give their phone numbers and favorite foods or hobbies. And we'll take the 6 down to 3 after the tea party event, and then we'll go into the double deck of cards. So we'll have the final event will be as it's been. We've kicked around how to change the sequencing of that and pull that earlier into the event, but it's the most conducive to have a head-to-head with 3 people being the finalists in that competition. So we're looking forward to it. The time goes by quickly. It's amazing when I think of all the hours and days that the people that are involved with this put into it, their commitment to it, their passion and love of it, to wanting to get the messaging out to a broader range of people. And if you told me that this was going to be going on for 24 years and that we're already starting to think about our 25th, which would be just 25 USA Memory Championships, and as you tell, I'm getting a little bit older. If you look at me at some of my earlier broadcasts, age is beginning to catch up with me a bit, and I like to think it's not, but it will catch up with all of us. As I always say, there's one thing you always want to have happen is you get older. But as you get older, we want to maintain your mental fitness. We see so many people worry about losing their cognitive fitness. They don't want to lose who they talk with or the words that they need to speak or things they need to remember. And so it's one of the most optimistic, positive things that we can do with the Memory Championship is to share with people that are watching it. There are things you can do at any age. And it doesn't have to be wait until you're a senior. You can start when you're a teenager and build these habits and skills into your daily activities, which help you with your schoolwork. And it'll help as you graduate from your school and college. It'll help you in your professional work and being more creative and being more outspoken and more confident in your own abilities to exceed at whatever the profession is that you choose to. And then, of course, as you get to be a senior, my goodness, if you've been doing this for a whole bunch of years, I think you're the biggest experiment and lab experiment that demonstrates that, hey, if you've been exercising your brain and you've maintained the things that we talk about in terms of the 6 key factors of long-term brain health, I think you become the oldest living generation we have of people who have learned and used the research and applied it in their day-to-day lives to extend their life expectancy. And I think this is an exciting, and if I'm going to have a legacy someday, I want that to be the legacy, that we've taught people how to extend their life expectancy in a very mentally fit way, in a very strong and social way, so that they communicate with people in a very confident and assuring way, and welcome the creativity of all of us to just keep figuring things out. And that's what I think our lives are all about. How do we figure it out and keep it going? So with that, I'm going to close down my Monday broadcast. It's been a good day, and the team's excited on the upcoming Saturday. Our mental athletes will get to Full Sail University at 10:15, and we will be off and running with the first Lumosity event of the day at 11 o'clock. And we hope to be finished by 3 on Saturday afternoon. And the only sidebar good note, we're at Full Sail University, which is a few miles from UCF's football stadium, and UCF is not home this Saturday, which worked out very well. And the weather forecast looks wonderful. So we got a twofer on this year's event. We'll see you on Wednesday. You have a good week.